What's going on, guys? I was trying to do a video tonight, and it's just not freaking happening. I just my Twitter feed keeps blowing up, Facebook keeps blowing up, my phone keeps blowing up. Listen, the stuff that Meta just came out with today is not bearish in any way, shape, or form. It is the freaking proxy. It has been written for months. We've known this. Now, I know there's a ton of long and strong Meta holders out there that have not been hounding me about all of this, what's going on with this news and stuff. A lot of the people that have been hounding me about this are people I've never seen before. No one's ever messaged me before. I've never seen their comments in any of my feeds before, except for a couple of these crazy bears that have been hanging out for a while, and that's okay. I've always said I don't mind a few bears here and there. They make the day fun. But the stuff that's been happening today, I mean, absolute ridicule, crucifixion almost, about the news that came out. And you know what? News, it's not news. It's not news, guys. What was released was just an update. It was an update. Everybody's been asking for a damn update, and you got a freaking update, and now you're pissed off at people who didn't do anything about your update. It was just a freaking update, guys. There is nothing bearish in that article in any way, shape, or form. None. Nada. Zip. Zilch. They are just stating that we are coming close to the end of time. The expiration date's the 28th of December, or the 31st of December, one of those two dates. I believe it was the 28th because they were able to move the stock proceedings forward a couple of days. Anyhow, they have to get all of this stuff in line. Oilco was set in place on August 31st. We had stated on September 1st that Oilco popped up out of nowhere. It could have possibly been the spin-off stuff. It absolutely was. It turns out it's just the spin-off stuff, and it's not a freaking big deal. We're making this huge deal out of something that's not huge. A total update just stating that everything's going as the proxy stated it will and should go. And why are we taking so much flack for it? Why does this conversation even have to happen? Why does Smokey have to get so pissed off on a Friday evening at 8:30? All I want to do is go sing some damn karaoke with my wife and have a good time tonight. But no, I got to address this stupid nonsense about an update, not news. Now, believe you me, I will promise you this is going to be turned into news, and the hedge funds and the market makers are going to utilize this news to drive the price down even further. So be expecting that, guys. Be absolutely expecting for tricks to happen. In fact, I'm going to include a clip of Jim Cramer talking about exactly how they did that. Back in 2006, he was talking about an Apple stock. And I know a lot of you have probably seen this clip, but I'm going to go ahead and toss it in there anyway. Go ahead and watch the whole thing, or don't. I don't care. But in all honesty, if you guys are pissed off about what went on today with this whole meeting, first off, we have been saying, don't expect anything in the meeting. Business as usual. That's more than likely what you're going to see. We can hope for more. You can always cross your fingers and hope. There's no bad things about hope, ever. But I always say, I always say, never bank on that kind of stuff. Do not rely on an investor meeting to hear that kind of stuff. That's not the way it's going to happen. It has to go through the proper channels, and it has to be a press release. Also, these crazy shills that keep popping up on Twitter. Some of these guys, if you go and click on their name, you can go and look at when their account was created. Some of these guys, I mean, are as early as September. In fact, I'm going to go to one right now, and let's see here. It says they can confirm that I've been paid. I will promise you this. All right, here it is. It's by Bambi. It says, I write notes to myself and talk shit to people about sports. That's his entire profile, and that's great, whatever. So anyway, it was in response to another person who has been a good follower of mine for quite some time. And I apologize if you feel that I'm a fanboy or that I don't have intellectual accuracy or whatever the hell it was you said. You know what? Screw you. I am a freaking fanboy. I love Meta. I have shirts made up of Meta. I spent my whole vacation, a ton of money, going to freaking California just so I can see Meta. I'm a fanboy, guys. I love this company. I love everything about the company. The company represents everything I support. They support innovation, proceeding further. They want to go forward in time. They don't want to just stand still. They want to help people. They want to help people do things better. They don't want to change everything. They want to make it easier. They want to make it better. That's all they want. And here's the problem. Hedge funds are now going to grab a hold of this little tiny article, and they're going to say, oh, look at this. You're not going to get your dividend. You're still going to get your damn dividend, guys. And if that's all you're worried about, piss off. I could give a shit less about the dividend. You know, I've said that a million times before. I have said a million times before. This channel is for long and strong, and that's what I am. I am freaking long and strong, and that's all there is to it. And you know what else? I never told any of you to buy this stock. I have always said, do what you want to do. I don't care. Buy it, sell it, short it, do whatever. I don't give a damn. I buy the stock. I love the stock. I talk about the things I want to do. I educate people about the stock and what it does throughout the day, and that's all I do. I've never been a pumper. I've never said this thing is the thing that you need to buy. I have never once told anybody that. I have just simply stated the things that I want to do and what I do. If anybody wants to buy the stock, buy the stock. If anyone wants to buy options, buy options. I don't give a damn. It is what it is, guys. I've never been a pumper. I'm not a pumper. I do love the company. My entire channel is derived around this entire company. I very rarely do I ever talk about another company. So yeah, I do love Meta. And you know what? It is what it is. I'll come out with a better video on Sunday. I'm sorry for this. It's just been a really frustrating day having to deal with all this stuff. None of us should even have to be dealing with. George shouldn't even have to deal with this. Again, it's not news. It's just an update. I don't know. Peace, guys.
Long economic data out today, but I want to talk about something else first. Again, today we have the misdirection from the futures. The futures pointing to an up market, and as of right now, stocks are down again. Is this just because it's the holiday period that we're seeing this?
You know, a lot of times when I was short at my hedge fund and I was positioned short, meaning I needed it down, I would create a level of activity beforehand that could drive the futures. It doesn't take much money. Similarly, if I were long and I would want to make things a little bit rosy, I would go in and take a bunch of stocks and make sure that they're higher, and maybe commit $5 million in capital to do it, and I could affect it. What you're seeing now is it probably is bigger market now. Maybe you need $10 million in capital to knock this stuff down, but it's a fun game and it's a lucrative game, and you can move it up and then fade it. That's often creates a very negative feel. So let's say you take a longer term view intraday and you say, listen, I'm going to boost the futures, and then when the real sellers come in, real market comes in, they're going to knock it down. That's going to create a negative view. That's a strategy very worth doing when you're valued on a day-to-day basis. And I would encourage anyone who's in the hedge fund game to do it because it's legal,
right?
And it is a very quick way to make money and very satisfying.
Okay.
Well, by the way, no one else in the world would ever admit that, but I can care.
That's right, and you can say that here.
I can't. I'm not going to say it on TV.
Well, on a related note, there's so many more hedge funds today than when you were managing your hedge fund.
Right.
Do you think does that exacerbate the moves, or does it make it tougher?
Well, you know, the hedge funds are positioned long short, okay, not just long like mutual funds. So it's really vital these next 6 days because of your payday. You've really got to control the market. You can't let it lift. When you get a research in motion, it's really important to use a lot of your firepower to knock that down because it's the fulcrum of the market today. So let's say I were short. What I would do is I would hit a lot of guys with RIM. Now, you can't foment. That's a violation of
Foment?
Yeah, you can't foment. You can't create yourself an impression that a stock's down. But you do it anyway because the SEC doesn't understand it. So that's the only sense that I would say this is illegal. But a hedge fund that's not up a lot really has to do a lot now to save itself. So this is different from what I was talking about at the beginning where I would be buying the Qs and stuff.
Right.
This is actually just blatantly illegal. But when you have 6 days and your company may be in doubt because you're down, I think it's really important to foment, if I were one of these guys, foment an impression that research in motion isn't any good because research in motion is the key today. So, you know, you would hit this guy and that guy, and when you would see an offering, when you see a guy who's bidding, you'd wipe out that guy very quickly. And what I used to do was called, if I wanted to go higher, I would take and bid. And if I wanted to go lower, I'd hit an offer. And I could get a stock like RIM for maybe, that might cost me 15, 20 million, Annie, to knock RIM down. But it would be fabulous because it would beleaguer all the moron longs who are also keying on research in motion. So we're seeing that. That's, you know, again, when your company's in a survival mode, it's really important to defeat research in motion and get the Pisanis of the world and the people talking about it as if there's something wrong with RIM. Then you would call the journal and you get the bozo reporter on research in motion and you would feed that there's a Palm's got a killer it's going to give away. These are all the things you must do on a day like today. And if you're not doing it, maybe you shouldn't be in the game.
Okay. Another stock that a lot of people are focused on right now seems to be Apple.
Yeah,
You
Apple's
mentioned-
very important to spread the rumor that that both Verizon and AT&T have decided they don't like the phone.
Right.
That's a very easy one to do because it's also you want to spread the rumor that it's not going to be ready for Macworld. And this is very easy because the people who write about Apple want that story. And you can claim that it's credible because you spoke to someone at Apple, because Apple isn't doesn't.
Right, they're not
issue
going
any
to comment. They're not going to
Right,
say.
so it's really an ideal short. And I would, again, if I were short Apple, I would be working very hard today to get that. And the way you would do that is you pick up the phone and you call 6 trading desks and you say, listen, I just got off the phone with my contact at Verizon. And he has already said, listen, we're a Lucky G house. We're a Samsung house. We're a Motorola house. There's no room for Apple. They want too much. We're not going to let them in. We're not going to let them do what they did to music. And, I think that's a very effective way to keep a stock down.
Right.
I might also, by the way, because the stock at 84, 85, with a little bit of capital, you go buy some January 80 puts that makes it look like there's going to be something going on. So maybe you give Morgan an order to buy 1,000 Jan 80 puts. Then you go position limit with you use a firm that doesn't know what the heck it's doing. Maybe you go to UBS for puts. And you just kind of create an image that there's going to be news next week, and that's going to frighten everybody.
Right.
Then they all go out and say large put buyer UBS. Then they call Pisani again. You have to use those guys and say, listen, I see a big buyer of puts, and I'm told that it's SAC. You would do that too. And these are all what's really going on under the market that you don't see.
Right, and nobody else talks about it
Right,
except
but
you.
what's important when you're in that hedge fund mode is to not do anything remotely truthful. Because the truth is so against your view
Right.
that it's important to create a new truth, to develop a fiction. And the fiction is developed by almost anybody who's down like 2% to up 6% here. You can't take any chances. You can't have the market up any more than it is if you're up 6. Because starting Jan 2, you'll have all your money come out. So
Right.
what would you do if you're in that situation and you feel like you're desperate, is that you would do these actions?
So you're talking about the mechanics of the market.
Well,
You know,
mechanics are much more important than the fundamentals.
well, okay, well, but in terms of the fundamentals, you've been writing about how you
Who cares
think.
about the fundamentals? Research in motion just blew out the quarter.
Right.
But look what people can do. I mean, that's a fabulous thing. The great thing about the market is it has nothing to do with the actual stocks.
Right.
Now, look, over maybe 2 weeks from now, the buyers will come to their senses and realize that everything that they heard was a lie. But then again, Fannie Mae lied about their earnings for $6 billion. So,
Right, and Bristol Myers lied.
It's just fiction
Yeah.
and fiction and fiction. And I think it's important for people to recognize that the way that the market really works is to have that nexus of hit the brokerage houses with a series of orders that can push it down, then leak it to the press, and then get it on CNBC. That's also very important. And then you have a kind of a vicious cycle down.
Right.
And it's a pretty good game. And it can be played. You can pay for a % or two.
Right, and then do you get long before Macworld and the expectation that the
Yeah, because
iPhone
you
is going
drove
to
it
be
down.
good? Right, and then you go back
You
flip to the
certainly
long
got to
side.
use the other side.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's a case where I would say the January 80 puts can be justified because after I've knocked the stock down to 80, I can buy a lot of common. And then you play it right into Macworld where they'll probably introduce the phone and Verizon's going to take it.
Okay. Well, maybe the fundamentals don't